Okay, and now we're gonna move over here to my stove. And it's really weird making a video and not trying to hide my hands. Like usually if I'm making a video, I try everything possible to hide my hands because, you know, they have damage. They have tons of damage from the arthritis. But anyway, since that's what this video is about, I don't have to do that. Anyway, so I'm gonna use this like flat griddle to make the pancakes, and I'm gonna show you exactly what everything looks like. All right, first I'm going to use olive oil. Well, first I'm gonna turn it on, right? Okay, so I'm using a gas stove. And I'm gonna put in my olive oil, generous amounts. I don't try to be like non-fat or anything, or low fat or whatever. So put in a generous amount of oil. Okay, I'm gonna let that heat up. And so meanwhile, I'll tell you guys, so I've been eating this way for really like committed eating this way for probably about 4 years. Um, I started really avoiding the foods that I avoid right after I took the COVID shot. And, you know, I didn't want to take the COVID shot. And I thought, even though they kept saying like it's totally um, safe for everybody and everybody should do it, it's your civic duty to do it, I really didn't want to do it because in my mind, I had a feeling, I just had a feeling that I might have a reaction with my arthritis. And the reason that I decided to do it is because I thought that they were going to start limiting travel and things like that if you didn't have the shot. And so I decided to do it. Anyway, after I got the shot, as I thought, about 2 weeks after I got the shot, I started having pain, my arthritis pain. And other than being a psoriatic arthritic person, I'm also a runner and I work out. And at this time, I was running probably about 50 kilometers a week. So that's like 20 miles a week. And so anyway, I started to have pain, but very severe pain to where I couldn't even turn the key to turn my car on. I couldn't dress myself. For example, sports bras, nightmare. And so like when I would need to go wake up early to go running and I knew I wasn't going to be able to get dressed in the morning. So I would have to get dressed at night and sleep in my running clothes. And so I could just wake up in the morning, have some coffee, have a little bit of food to be able to take an anti-inflammatory pill, and then run, because then I could run, and running made me feel better, of course. Um, so anyway, so I started eating this way because it just got to be too much. I started getting stomach pains from taking the anti-inflammatories, and I went to get ozone therapy. And I'll make a separate video about that. But anyway, so my ozone doctor suggested that I eliminate those things from my diet, the things that I mentioned, and so I started doing that. Anyway, here come my pancakes, and what I do is I have a spoon ready because since this is it's viscous, so I'm gonna actually pour it pancake shape into the pan, but it's gonna like continue to drip. So I either use my fingers to stop it or I use a spoon. So I'm gonna just have a spoon right here. Anyway, here I go pouring the pancakes into the pan, and I'll show you what they look like. So I'm making these. I usually make these for multiple days because, I mean, God, who has time to make pancakes every day, right? Anyway, so let me bring this closer so you guys can see what they look like. This is what they look like, right? Anyway, as they're cooking, I'm just gonna continue blabbing along to you. Anyway, so I started eating this way, and so anyway, what I do is I make a bunch, and because my daughters have them for breakfast, and I also have them for breakfast. I don't have them every day, but I do have them for breakfast. I alternate other stuff as well. When I have them also with peanut butter that has no sugar for the protein, and with my homemade jelly, which I'll show you how to make. Anyway, how do you know when these are ready to flip? Well, you know because they start getting bubbles in them, okay? So if you look at, for example, this guy right here, he's starting to get bubbles in there. Can you see? Starting to get bubbles in there. And when they get a lot of bubbles, then it's gonna mean that it's time to flip. So I'm gonna try to see if it's ready. And if my spatula goes under there with no problem, look at that, flip that baby. All right, try this one. Ah, and this is why it's good to have a bunch of oil in there so they're nice and slippery. Slippery. Can you say that about pancakes? No, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So this is not, I'm definitely not a perfectionist. I don't really care what they look like, to tell you the truth. They taste the same. Anyway, so I'm gonna make these. I'm gonna put them into a plate until they're cool. And then once they're cool, then I can put them into transfer them into a plastic container. And actually, I'm not even gonna have them today. I'm making them today. Today is a Sunday. I'm making them today because my daughter started school this year. Oh, I didn't mention, I'm also a homeschool mom. So my daughter, this is my oldest daughter's first year in school. She's going to high school. So she wanted to go to high school for the social part of it, and I totally get it. So anyway, this is what she likes to eat in the morning because she also doesn't eat sugar, and she also doesn't eat flour. Trust me, this is not because I told her not to. This is like her own thing for a couple of reasons. One is because lately we flour, she gets like super, super, super bloated and into the point where it hurts. And also, I know partially it's because she wants to be fit. She doesn't want to, she wants to be in shape. And really, if you eliminate flour and sugar from your diet, there's so many things that you can't eat that you automatically just eat better and probably ingest fewer calories, because all of that junk food, can't eat it because it either has flour, excuse me, it either has flour or sugar. Now here, I'm not going to this is actually not going to yield a lot of pancakes. I could have stretched this out a little bit more by adding by adding water to the batter, and then having to add more flour. But anyway, like I said, it's not a perfect art for me. Don't use a recipe. And so it's going to turn out a little bit different every time. So anyway, this time it's only going to make me 7 pancakes, which is really not that much. So it's like a lot of work for not that much. But anyway, so this is what they look like. So you can see the size. These are really good. I mean, they're pretty filling, to tell you the truth. And my daughter eats these with agave syrup, unsweetened agave syrup, and I eat them with peanut butter and with peanut butter and my homemade jelly. I'm gonna flip these again. Anyway, so that's how you make the pancakes.